This back-to-school season, it's the question parents across the country are facing: mask or no mask?
Okay, Shar, so we have to wear masks at school, and you have to wear it all day because that's the way we stay the safest, okay?
For 5-year-old Charlotte in Florida, it's not just lunch and a backpack she's taking as she heads off to kindergarten. But even with the added protection, her dad is worried.
First week back and feeling much trepidation about this current climate right now we face.
Despite the availability of vaccines, the nation is grappling with a fourth surge of COVID-19 spurred by the Delta variant, once again leading to a fierce debate over how states can best protect communities. The U.S. now averaging more than 110,000 new COVID cases a day. Hospitals now admitting about 9,300 new patients on a daily basis, the most since February. With many Americans and healthcare professionals asking how we found ourselves back here in yet another outbreak.
What we're seeing clearly is that this virus is targeting those that are unvaccinated. The clear thing that we know now is that the unvaccinated people in this population are what's driving transmission and ultimately creating risk for all of us.
93 million people in this country who are eligible for vaccination, who are not yet vaccinated, they give the virus a lot of leeway to circulate and ultimately perhaps be an even more difficult variant.
The numbers are especially worrying in the Sunshine State, where cases here hit record highs last week and pediatric hospitalizations are the highest in the country. But even as cases skyrocket, masks are optional here, including in many schools.
Candidly, I think it's all about politics. I don't think it's anything about public health or the kids' health in Florida.
At the end of July, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis issued an executive order banning mask mandates in schools, leaving the decision up to parents, not school districts.
There will be no school closures. There will be no restrictions and no mandates in the state of Florida.
When I first heard it, I would say I was not surprised. I will say that I was very disappointed.
Carly Simon is the Alachua County School Superintendent. Her district, one of just 2, defying the governor's order and requiring all kids and educators to mask up. Simon says 2 custodians from her district recently died from COVID-related complications.
The thought of losing any more staff, teachers, or a student, I can't tolerate. I wouldn't be able to handle. And the fact that I'm even at this place where I have to fight to not have dying children or dying staff members is so frustrating.
We need to be nuanced and flexible in our recommendations, and we need to be arming our schools with all the tools to make sure to keep kids safe. So by banning mask mandates, you are essentially creating unnecessary risk in schools.
This week, the state's education commissioner began investigating districts that defied the governor's order and mandated masks.
This issue has been framed as a parent choice issue. We see this as an issue that is purely public health, purely public safety. The same way that someone is required to have a car seat for an infant in a car, or required to have your kids wear seatbelts in a car.
Charlotte's dad, Charles Gallagher, is part of a team of lawyers representing several families in a lawsuit seeking to block the governor's executive order, arguing that it violates the Florida Constitution.
Safe schools are entitled to all Floridians. We're not talking about there may be a risk going forward if kids aren't masked. We're talking about day one on the campus. They face danger, they face peril.
The debate over masking at school is playing out all across the country. In Texas, districts there are also rebelling against Governor Greg Abbott's ban on mask mandates. But in Tennessee, there was chaos and anger outside a school board meeting. Hecklers following and yelling at healthcare professionals who spoke about the benefits of masks.
We know who you are. We know who you are.
And California becoming the first state to order all public school teachers and staff to be vaccinated or be regularly tested. Back in Florida, Simon says so far parents have been largely positive about the masking rules, but a small vocal group is refusing.
Well, there's definitely backlash. I've been called many names. My staff have been threatened. I had one parent yesterday who dropped off their child without a mask and then refused to answer the phone for the entire day. And so their child sat in the clinic. We have adult disagreements, and bringing the kids in the middle is just not beneficial at all.
Everyone in the school system should be wearing a mask. And I know there's controversy about masks, but I'd rather have a somewhat uncomfortable child wearing a mask than a child in the ICU.
It's a familiar scene. Hospitals here struggling to keep up with the surge. What does that mean?
That's a code.
So what's happening now?
That's a patient who is unstable right now. It's either no blood pressure or oxygenation is bad or heart rate just went to 0.
How often does that happen per day?
Almost every day.
Multiple times a day?
Multiple times a day.
UF Health Shands is seeing younger patients get sicker faster, nearly all unvaccinated.
This surge is actually much bigger than anything that we have seen before.
38-year-old Ian Woods says he was waiting to get vaccinated. He's been in the hospital now for more than a week. Any message you might have to people who, like you, were on the fence about getting the vaccine?
I would say don't be afraid to get it. Just go ahead and get it. It's worth it. I mean, I wish I had gotten it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have wound up in the hospital like this.
And now some local leaders are stepping up to do their part to keep people out of the hospitals.
We do give you thanksgiving and praise.
Like Pastor Marcel Davis in Pensacola.
The hospitals are overflowing here. And so we took it a step to say, hey, listen, we've got to get ahead of this.
On this day, Pastor Davis teamed up with the county commissioner and a local health group to give out back-to-school supplies, encouraging his community to get vaccinated.
We've done over 25,000 vaccinations, and we're not letting up.
Chandra Smiley is the CEO of Community Health Northwest Florida, working to educate a population that is still hesitant about the vaccine.
We're dealing with a younger group. When we were vaccinating our 65 and olders, I think they were lining up around the building, and as those ages dropped, we started to see the hesitancy creep in.
I think that we have been dealing with, in our area, a lot of misinformation.
To Pastor Davis, it's about cutting through the politics and focusing on what he can do to help.
We've got to get serious about this and stop making this a political issue and say this is a mankind issue, and we have to love our neighbors as ourselves. Let's take the politics out of it. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. This virus does not show up at your doorstep and ask what political party you're with. This virus comes in and takes over and wreaks havoc on family.
Mom of 2, Erica Douglas, took this as an opportunity to get her 15-year-old son vaccinated before going back to school.
He plays in the band. He likes to, be around his family and his friends. And so we felt that the Pfizer vaccine was an added layer of protection for him.
And even though masks are still optional in many schools, she says her family will continue to focus on keeping themselves safe.
Continue to social distance, continue to wear their masks, to get vaccinated once it's appropriate for them to do so. That's all that we can really do as parents. We are responsible for the health and well-being of our children, and so that's what we'll continue to do.
My message to the rest of the country is don't hesitate, vaccinate. If we're going to make America great again, we must vaccinate. Okay?
For Nightline, I'm Victor Okendo in Gainesville, Florida.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.